I'm going to open this up to questions. If you have a question, it'll be about the course. It could be about easy language, anything you like, and let me know. I'm going to take a swig of water here. Today's one of those days I could turn the air on. I don't know. It's borderline. It's getting warm up here, though. I'm on the second floor. Well, let's see. Here's a question I get. It's too expensive. Let's go through some questions here that I've run into. Well, this is something I got. This was on the Slack channel, and this came in. It says today. I mean, duh, but this actually came in this week. And David in the Slack channel, who signed up for the course, he says, "Let me rephrase. On the first 4 lessons, it's worth more than the money I spent. This is really the highest quality course I have taken." And I just said, thanks for the kind words. It's always great to hear people getting value from the course. Somebody else wrote, this was in their Google document. As I was going over their homework, he says, "Thanks, Jeff. This is the best programming course that I have ever taken." And if this guy named Robert, he's actually a professional coder. He actually is a professional coder, and I believe he's in his 60s. And he was blown away by this. And I have implemented what I've learned in the market study and other lessons, and it's working out great. I've already captured 2/3 of the price of this course in my live account. At this rate, I'll be bumping up my contract size to 2. And he then also sent this picture a few days later of another instance. This was on the Facebook group. He posted this in the Facebook group. He said, "Lucky? Maybe. Easy language mastery? Yes, much more likely. Nice way to do a Friday. Thanks, Jeff." And I'm telling him, well, there's always luck in trading, but it's definitely your skill. And he showed a couple nice trades here. So is it expensive? If you start adding up all your losses and that can be huge. And it all, learning a computer language and learning how to use easy language could pay dividends for the rest of your life. What are the requirements? Okay, so John's asking also, do you prefer trading futures? I do prefer trading futures. I used to do stocks. That was a nightmare with this taxes. It's just too much work. I like the leverage of futures. I like the simplicity. You have a smaller pool to pull from. Futures run almost 24/7. You get tax advantages, at least in the United States. So yeah. Roughly how many strategies do you trade at one time? Any one time, several dozen. It's not huge. I'm working on building that up, and several dozen. How reliable is historical day and TradeStation versus real-time trading? I've heard that this is a problem with backtesting. That's always a problem with backtesting. And it's not necessarily the data. The data can be a problem, but the more of the problem is curve fitting. And this is like what you encounter when you're actually building the system. So when you're building a trading model, it's important that you don't key off the noise or some random pattern. So there's certain techniques that you discover or use to avoid curve fitting. And that's the main problem. I wouldn't say it's data. It's data mining on and over curve fitting your strategy to the historical data. To get the most from the course, I would say you should have access to TradeStation and/or multi-charts. This will work for multi-charts as well. You should have familiarity. Familiarity? That's a good one. You should be familiar with your trading platform. I'm getting a little buggy here. A desire to learn a new skill. You got to be curious, right? You got to be curious and learning new stuff. Do you use any, I'm going to interrupt here. Lars is saying, do you use any tools beyond TradeStation? Yeah, Walk Forward Optimizer, Monte Carlo Analysis, use those. I'm also experimenting with another tool. I'm not going to go public with it yet, but it's just blowing me away with what it can do. And I think it's really going to take my trading up to a different level. Or I should say my strategy development up to a different level. But yeah, Walk Forward Optimizer and Monte Carlo. Definitely Monte Carlo. Use that more than anything. Learn to use a Monte Carlo. What else here? I would expect you to do 5 hours per week. as well on this course. You could spend more, you could spend less. More is always better. All right, yes, somebody brought this up. We do a lot in futures. So the course, we use ES. This is the US 30-year Treasury. This is the Euro futures, and we also do something with trends. So these symbols are like the minimum you'd probably want with the course, and I recommend using TradeStation 9.5. So we do a lot with futures. We use these symbols a lot, and we're using 9.5. You can use 10. You could use 9.1. They just might look slightly different. Is this course for someone who has never coded before? Yes, this is a course for beginners and as well as intermediate, or I should say beginning coders. Never touched coding before, or you're just getting started. This will be the best. If you're intermediate, you'll definitely pick up some things. Depending on how really skilled you are, you'll pick up some things. Lars, with a spreadsheet. I don't use a spreadsheet. I used to use a spreadsheet. There are spreadsheets out there. Kevin Davey has a good free one. I actually had one coded up years ago, which I used to give to people. I don't have that anymore. There are other tools out there that will do that. And one of those I'm going to be talking about in another course really soon. I don't want to mention it quite yet because I'm still exploring it. But spreadsheets are fine. They like I said, Kevin Davey has a good one, and it's better than nothing, right? I would definitely, if you don't have a Monte Carlo, get a spreadsheet on it, learn to use it, become familiar with it, play with it for a year, right? Or half a year, whatever it takes, and see what it can do for you. Now, am I smart enough to learn easy language? I get that a lot. I don't think it's smart enough. It's how dedicated you are, okay? How much time are you willing to put in? You may have to put in 10 hours a week. Are you willing to get up in the morning before the kids and spend an hour on TradeStation learning easy language? Or maybe you have to stop watching, I don't know what's popular. It used to be Game of Thrones. You'd have to stop watching something and, or at least dedicate less time to it and spend time on easy language. How hard is it to learn? Well, it depends on how much time you put into it and how much effort. Some people do struggle at the beginning because learning to code is a different way to think. You have to think like a computer, and you literally do. And I do my best to show you how to take English and translate that into a computer language, like using easy language. And it's a different thought process. But it's just, again, you're going to have to put some effort in. How long will it take? Well, the course is going to take 9 weeks, and with 9 weeks, if you really stick with it, you can do a lot in those 9 weeks. So let's say 9 weeks is for the smartest people, the most aggressive people are going to learn a lot in 9 weeks. But that's the start of your journey. I think it's going to take you a few months to become really comfortable with easy language and really hit your stride. And like a lot of skills, the more you practice it, the better. So 6 months from now, a year from now, you're going to look back and like, oh my God, you're so far ahead that you'll look back and like, I was in the dark ages, 12 months ago. So, look to spend some months on it, 6 months, 12 months, then you're going to really see a huge improvement. This will definitely give you a jump start, however. You can use multi-charts. Yeah, I use multi-chart. Multi-chart is very similar to their power language is very similar to easy language. The vast bulk, it's got to be 98 to 99, if not 100% of what I teach, it will cross over to multi-charts. Lifetime, do I get lifetime access to the training material? Yes, you do. Lifetime access to all the material and all future updates. Do you cover object-oriented programming? Object-oriented programming is a different trading style, different methodology. I don't go over that. That's a little bit more advanced. I'm thinking of creating some modules down the road about that, though, because there are some advantages to using object-oriented programming. If you don't know what object-oriented is, don't worry about it. Learn the core classic easy language first. Well, that's all I had. Do we have any other questions? Well, everyone, about my book, the ebook, Step-by-Step to Building Winning Trading Systems. Sure. Okay. The ebook. All right. We're talking about two different skills here. Easy Language Mastery Ignition is learning to code in easy language. It's a programming course. So it's how to take ideas in English and convert them to a computer language. So for loops, syntax, things of that nature, variables. The book doesn't teach you easy language. The book is how to build trading systems. So what would be a good analogy? If you wanted to build a house, first, you would have to learn what's a saw? Hey, what's a hammer? What's drywall? What is drywall made of and how do you put it in there? What is a floor? How do you run electrical wire or plumbing? So those are the basic components of building a house. Easy Language Mastery Ignition, the basic components. But if you wanted to build a real structure, you would need a blueprint. So the ebook, Step-by-Step Guide to Building Weighing Systems, is a blueprint. So the blueprint's going to show you, hey, this is what the house should look like, and here are some of the steps to follow to build it correctly. But it's not going to show you how to use the hammer, and it's not going to show you how to run electrical wiring, and it's not going to show you, all the details. So I hope that makes sense, that analogy. It's probably pretty crappy, but Easy Language Mastery Ignition is a programming course on how to code. System development, or that ebook you talked about, is all about strategy development. So once you know the code, what are the proper steps to build a trading system without curve fitting, and then properly validate that strategy before taking it to the live market. That's what's covered in that book. I actually go over 12 steps to help you build a system. But there's the assumption there that you know easy language. Thanks a lot, guys, for contributing. I really appreciate it. You're welcome, Lars. Solomon, you're welcome as well. I'm out of here. And I guess we'll see you maybe on the Facebook group or in another live event. You're welcome, Stan. All right, take care, everyone.